government set up compensation fund for COVID-19 vaccinations. SUKE crane incident kills 3, injures others. Hello and good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Welcome to News at 10. The government has agreed to compensate individuals who suffer severe adverse effects after being vaccinated for COVID-19. Health Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Adham Baba said the compensation is capped at 500,000 ringgit per person, which will be paid out by the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA. He said that the government has also approved an initial fund of 10 million ringgit for this purpose.
Kerajaan bersetuju untuk menyediakan dana permulaan sebanyak ringgit Malaysia 10 juta di bawah kumpulan wang amanah bantuan bencana negara KWA BBM yang diuruskan oleh Agensi Pengurusan Bencana Negara NADMA bagi tujuan bayaran bantuan khas kewangan kesan mudarat COVID-19 ini.
Dato' Sri Dr. Adham said this in a joint press conference with Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry Khairi Jamaluddin. Explaining further, he said the government has set up 3 committees to observe and assess adverse reactions and safety issues related to COVID-19 vaccines. When asked about individuals who experience adverse reactions and how the Health Ministry attended to these cases, Dato' Sri Dr. Adham said the reactions were assessed on the spot. In another development, National Immunisation COVID-19 Program Coordinating Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said face-to-face registration for COVID-19 vaccination has been launched in the rural areas, especially in places with limited internet access and communities without digital gadgets. He said that under the community outreach program, teams will be moving from house to house in the interior to undertake manual registration.
Sasaran kita adalah komuniti yang tidak mempunyai peranti digital ataupun ketersampaian internet yang tinggi, dapat kita daftar secara manual, secara bersemuka. Usaha ini juga penting menjelang April nanti, di mana fasa 2 akan bermula pada satu tarikh yang kita akan umumkan kelak untuk golongan berisiko seperti warga emas, individu dengan sejarah penyakit dan orang kurang upaya. Ini bagi memastikan mereka yang tergolong dalam fasa 2 di kawasan sasaran-sasaran program jangkau komuniti tidak tercicir daripada program kita.
Asked on reports that 90% of the senior citizens in Selangor have not registered for the immunization, Khairi said the authorities had identified almost 50 care centres in the state for conducting the registration. He said homes for the elderly can also use the My Sejahtera application to do bulk registrations for the residents under their care. In the same development, Khairi said a total of 6,155,213 individuals had signed up for the vaccine as of yesterday, and this is 25% of the target of the country's largest ever vaccination program. He said some people had not registered yet because they were adopting a wait-and-see attitude.
Kita dapati bahawa kebanyakan daripada rakyat masih lagi tunggu dan lihat, dan ada juga di kawasan luar bandar. Saya pun balik kawasan semalam, Dr. Adham pun balik kawasan semalam. Ada yang tak tahu langsung tentang program imunisasi ini. Jadi ini adalah faktor-faktor yang akan kita ambil kira dan meningkatkan lagi program komunikasi kita.
The number of individuals that have registered to receive the COVID-19 vaccination in Perak via My Sejahtera app is only 21.1% from the total state population, which is considered very low. Perak Menteri Besar Datuk Sakrani Muhammad said fear of needles, the wait-and-see attitude as well as the lack of awareness on the importance of vaccination are seen as among the reasons of the people of Perak have not registered for the vaccination under the National COVID-19 Immunisation Program.
Kita akan merancakkan lagi dengan melatih lebih ramai sukarelawan untuk pendaftaran. Kita boleh buat di pasar raya, pintu masuk the mall, kita boleh buat di pintu masuk pasar malam, kita boleh buat di pusat khidmat adun, boleh buat di tepi padang bola pun boleh sebenarnya, asalkan tempat orang berkumpul. Kita melatih orang sukarelawan untuk mendaftar dan mereka boleh berdaftar di situ.
He said this to reporters after receiving the second dose of COVID-19 vaccination at the Indra Mulia Stadium in Ipoh today. According to statistics, the total population of Perak is about 2.611 million, of which about 1.951 million, or 74.7% of the people are aged 18 and above. Datuk Sakrani urged the people to help the government in the efforts to curb the outbreak of the pandemic as soon as possible by taking the vaccination. The number of active COVID-19 cases currently stands at 14,134. This comes after 1,160 new infections and 1,495 recoveries were reported in the last 24 hours. In a statement, Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said Selangor tops the number of fresh infections by state with 337 new cases, followed by Kuala Lumpur with 158 and Sarawak with 124. He said 156 patients currently being treated in the ICU, with 60 of them requiring ventilator support. The Health DG also reported that the death toll rose to 1,238 after 5 new deaths registered today. Meanwhile, the number of active COVID-19 clusters stands at 411 after 15 declared as inactive and 10 new ones emerged nationwide. For the record, a total of 896 clusters have been declared inactive since the outbreak began in the country last year. The government emphasises fair treatment in drawing up development under the 12th Malaysia Plan 12 MP for Sabah by providing equal allocation like other states. The Prime Minister said he is aware that Sabah is still lagging behind in some development aspects compared with some states in the peninsula, and that the federal government is committed to reduce the gap.
Jadi usaha mesti dilaksanakan supaya pembangunan infra yang ada di Sabah untuk tempoh 10 tahun ke hadapan dalam RM ke-12, RM ke-13 mesti kita tingkatkan dan percepatkan. Tadi sebab itu saya komit supaya Pen Borneo Highway yang sudah bermula mesti kita percepatkan, disegerakan supaya jalan itu akan dapat digunakan untuk memasarkan produk, keluar berurus niaga, pergi ke sekolah dan sebagainya, dan tidak akan mengambil masa yang terlalu lama yang merugikan.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said among major development projects being carried out in Sabah was the Sabah-Pen Borneo Highway, a game-changer project that would change the lives of the people of the state. Others, he said, were the Sepangga Bay Container Port Expansion Project, upgrading of 50 dilapidated schools, and the Sabah Rural Road Project, all of which are expected to boost economic activities in Sabah. The Prime Minister said the measures taken were expected to ensure a balanced socio-economic development for well-being of the people in Sabah. Sabah has a great potential in attracting domestic and foreign investments due to its strategic location in their region as well as its wealth of natural resources. According to the Prime Minister, the Sepangga Bay Container Port in Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East Asian Growth Area BIMP YAGA has the potential to attract foreign investments, subsequently boosting job opportunities and the socio-economic status of Sabahans. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the federal government, by the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, would continue to work closely with the state government to provide a complete ecosystem to stimulate the development of production and manufacturing industries. The Premier also said that Sabah has the potential to take part in the development of the aerospace industry in line with Malaysia Aerospace Industry Blueprint 2030. The investment can create more than 1,500 jobs for Sabahans and have a positive impact on other sectors in Sabah through the growth in investment chains. 3 individuals died when a launcher crane tipped over at the Sungai Besi Ulu Kelang Elevated Expressway SUKE construction site near Persiaran Alam Damai Ceras this morning. Kuala Lumpur Fire and Rescue Department JBPM Director Nordin Pauzi said a total of 6 victims involved in the accident, 3 of which are the project's construction workers.
Walau manapun ada satu lagi mangsa yang terhimpit di atas kerangka struktur dan operasi menyelamat sedang dilaksanakan. Jadi kita juga mendapat kerjasama dengan pihak kontraktor untuk membuat angkatan kepada bebanan yang telah tertindih mangsa berkenaan dan semoga kerja-kerja ini dapat dipercepatkan.
Nordin said JBPM received a call on the incident at about 8:45 a.m. and 3 fire engines from the fire and rescue stations of Cheras, Tun Razak and Hang Tuah rushed to the scene. Meanwhile, Senior Minister of Works, Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof, has ordered an immediate stop to construction and maintenance works at the site.
Pihak pemaju, pihak kontraktor dan bahagian keselamatan mereka mesti come up untuk memberi cadangan. Apakah langkah ataupun tindakan kalau nak meneruskan projek ini, sudut keselamatan yang mesti dilihat oleh mereka.
Datuk Seri Fadilah said the stop work order was issued to enable investigations to be carried out. The area has been sealed off for rescue effort, which is expected to be completed by midnight until the investigation is completed. Coming up next, 3 men arrested, drugs worth 35 million ringgit seized. Stay with us. Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad's BIMB wholly owned subsidiary BIMB Investment Management Berhad is aiming for 100 million ringgit in asset under management AUM in 2 years for its newly launched BIMB Arabesque Global Sharia Sustainable Equity Fund BGSEF. BIMB Investment Chief Executive Officer Najmuddin Muhammad Lutfi said the investment company is currently managing about 1.7 billion ringgit worth of assets and targets to increase it to 2.5 billion ringgit by year end, with the newly launched fund expected to contribute about 10% of its total funds in the next 24 months. He said currently BIMB Investments are managing the largest Sharia environmental, social and governance ESG assets of about 1 billion ringgit, of which 60% of the AUM is in equity.
Our current AUM, 65% of it are in equity, and currently we're managing the largest Sharia ESG assets, about 1 billion. And obviously the new fund is also in ESG asset, and hopefully it will contribute additional equity growth, for us, equity AUM growth for us. We hope that we can achieve 70% of our AUM to be equities in the next 24 months.
He said this at the virtual launch of BGSEF today. He said the new fund is available with a minimum subscription of 500 ringgit by its distributors, which includes Bank Islam. The fund is offered in 5 currency classes, including Malaysian Ringgit class, Malaysian Ringgit hedge class, US dollar class, Australian dollar class, and Singapore dollar class. Commenting on its foray into the international market, Najmuddin said the bank has already had 2 funds marketed and distributed in Singapore since 2 years ago. The police had managed to cripple a drug smuggling syndicate from Thailand with the arrest of 3 men in a raid at a house in Kajang, Selangor on 17th March. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Bado said the suspect only acted as transporter to carry the drugs past the country's border. Tan Sri Abdul Hamid said 35 million ringgit worth of shabu were seized in the operation.
So dapat dirampas sejumlah 673.2 kilogram dadah jenis shabu. Dan seterusnya apabila pemeriksaan dibuat di sekitar rumah itu terdapat sebuah lori, dan apabila dibuat pemeriksaan ke atas lori tersebut dijumpai sejumlah 309.85 kg lagi dadah yang jenis yang sama yang siap berbungkus, menjadikan jumlah keseluruhannya hampir 1 tan.
The IGP also informed that a total of 56 drug syndicates had been busted nationwide, with 217 individuals arrested in the first 2 months of 2021. Police also seized over 76 tons of various kinds of drugs and 9,752.46 liters of liquid drugs worth around 245.2 million ringgit in the operations. In other development, Tan Sri Abdul Hamid has given his assurance that allegations of a cartel within the police force and a group of younger police officers trying to topple him will be addressed without having lodged a report with the Police Force Commission SPP.
Saya sekadar untuk sampaikan kepada YB Menteri. Ya, YB Menteri. Dia tidak perlulah sampai ke apa ni, dan terpulanglah kepada YB Menteri sama ada perkara itu nak diangkatkan kepada SPP atau tidak. Ada yang suruh buat RCI lah apa. Sebenarnya saya tegaskan sekali lagi, it is under control.
Tan Sri Abdul Hamid said that he has publicly apologized to Datuk Sri Hamzah for not informing him of the matter, as he considered it as an internal matter. Explaining the cartel activities within the police force, the IGP said that he wanted to stop the culture of threatening the public who wanted to come forward to provide information and a culture of corruption among police personnel. A captain of a ship and a crew member pleaded not guilty in the magistrate's court today to a charge with smuggling cigarettes worth 47.1 million ringgit into the country early this month. The accused Min Ong, 55, a Myanmar national, and Singaporean Siah Tian Lee, 48, made the plea after the charge was read out to them before Magistrate Nur Azwin Abdul Muati. The 2 men were charged with other 9 crew members for bringing 70 million cigarette sticks of multiple brands on board the ship MV Chita on the night of 8th of March nearby Pulau Kukup. However, the charge against the other 9 crew members aged between 22 and 46 was postponed to 21st of April to enable the court to get a Burmese interpreter, as they do not understand Malay and English. The court allowed them bail of 20,000 ringgit with the 2 local sureties each, and also ordered them to report themselves at the nearest police station on every Monday until the disposal of the case. They were also ordered to surrender their passports to the court. The court set April 21st for mention. A businessman with the title Datuk Sri was charged in the Kuala Lumpur Magistrates Court today on 3 counts of molesting and insulting the modesty of his 21-year-old daughter. However, the man, who owns several convenience shops in the Klang Valley, pleaded not guilty to the charges before Magistrate Wong Chai Sia. The 49-year-old businessman was charged with 2 counts of molesting the girl by using force with intent to outrage her modesty on 2 occasions in the living room and in front of a bedroom of a house in Sentul on 16th of July last year and last 9th of January. The charges were made under Section 354 of the Penal Code, which provides an imprisonment for up to 10 years or with fine or with whipping or any 2 of the punishments if found guilty. The man, who has 4 children, was also charged under Section 509 of the Penal Code with uttering words intended to insult the girl's modesty in a Mercedes-Benz car on 17th July last year. The court allowed him bail of 25,000 ringgit with one surety for all charges. He was also ordered to surrender his passport to the court and to not intimidate witnesses in the case. The court set 27 April for mention. Coming up in sports, West Ham left frustrated. Lee Zijia was hailed as a hero after winning the All England Open and igniting Malaysia's hopes of success at the Tokyo Olympics, even without retired legend Datuk Lee Chong Wei. The young Malaysian star defeated Denmark's Victor Zassen 30-29, 20-22, 21-9 yesterday to win the All England, one of the sport's most prestigious tournaments, for the first time in his career. On his way to victory, the 22-year-old also beat 2-time world champion Kento Momota, who was returning to international action after being injured in a car crash in Malaysia last year. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin took to Facebook to congratulate the shuttler, urging him to use this victory as a catalyst to work harder and to become greater in future. The win added to hopes that Malaysia has found a player to continue the country's success in badminton following the 2019 retirement of Datuk Lee Chong Wei. The elder Lee was a 3-time Olympic silver medalist and one of the greatest players of his generation. Badminton Association of Malaysia President Tan Sri Norza Zakaria praised Lee Zijia's victory as a real achievement. Meanwhile, both of his parents also expressed their pride that they feel over Zijia's win.
Okay, jadi dia boleh mengalahkan, maksudnya dia boleh orang cetus kembali kebangkitan dia, semangat dia. Jadi lepas tu sebelum bermain dengan Victor, okay, jadi saya pun kata you enjoy the game and then gain a lot of experience from him. He's a very prestige player for me. Memang tak sangka, amat terharu ya. Nampak permainan yang dipersembahkan, dia tidak mahu lagi menghampakan kita semua. Itu yang dia pegang. Saya rasa itu membanggakan saya sebagai ibu.
Kalau boleh kita bagi dia masa dia untuk progres. Itu saja. Harap semua rakyat pun terus sokong dia. Masa dia menang ke atau masa dia kalah.
Arsenal fought back from 3 goals down to earn a thrilling 3-3 draw at West Ham United. Alexander Lacazette scored a late equaliser as Mikel Arteta's side produced a stunning comeback at the London Stadium. Under goalkeeper Bernd Leno. West Ham grabbed a third after 33 minutes, after 76 minutes, but Antonio hit the post from close range. West Ham missed the chance to move into the top 4, while Arsenal moved up to 9th in the table. With that, we conclude news at 10. In our top story, government set up compensation fund for COVID-19 vaccinations. Join us for more updates at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I'm Shoda Arifin. Stay tuned to saluran Berita RTM and have a good night.